Hey, good morning. There may be some silence here. I just started it a little bit early, the live stream. A little bit of silence till we get started. It just lets everybody log in. Drinking a little coffee here. All right, let's get going here, maybe. We got that up. Let's get this out of the way. All right, here we go. This going here. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being here. How's everybody doing today? Hey, let's just a second, got a note. What's it say? Not much. Okay. Um, let's put up the oh no, you know what? Let's put up CNC. CNC we were holding yesterday. We're actually still holding half. But CNC we ended up gapping up. I sold half yesterday, still holding half, as I do believe it still goes higher. Let me get my pen out here. Price remains above the 8 EMA, and the 8 EMA remains above the trend indicator. And for the most part, the market is trying to get to the top. We'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, I want to talk about Meta. Take a look at Meta. Go Meta. Um, this is another one that's popping up. Now, I don't own Meta. It's METU. I own the single stock ETF. We'll go look at that in a second. But here's Meta put in a bottom. We popped up over the 8 EMA, and now we're getting a little bit of follow through here. And right here would be our little sweet spot. That's at 50% retracement back up. Whoops, you know what? I forgot to. There you go. Sorry, guys. I forgot to turn that on. Here, I'll even turn the mic. Hello, everybody. Right way options. I want to welcome you. Doug's out today, and I do apologize. I forgot to click the button over there. I've got a lot of cameras going, so forgive me. Please forgive me. Um, so anyway, we're holding this Meta now, or I'm sorry, let's go to METU, and that looks like it's going to move up. Everything's working. Price is above the 8 EMA. We have not turned up above the trend indicator yet, but this was a bottom picking chart. I knew that going in, and we'll be looking for it to move up toward that 34 30 area, to the tune of 19%. Not bad on the stock. That means well over a 40% move on the option there. So looking good on that one. Hey, before we get too far going, I want to remind everybody of our Black Friday sale. Now, Right Way Options, BYOB, as well as myself and Hit Run Candlesticks, we have a Black Friday sale going on, not coming out. And you're welcome to take advantage. If you have any questions, just get a hold of either one of us, or maybe Ed. He can help you out with that if you're interested. The lifetime with Hit Run Candlesticks, you also not only do the 2 hours of private coaching, but you get an hour every month for the first 6 months. So that might be worth something to somebody. And let's also remember that John at BYOB Day Trading has an open house coming this next week, Monday, I believe. So watch your email, register for that, check social media. Love to see you over there. Okay, let's talk about the market now. Let's get over here on the spot. So yesterday, I had mentioned that the higher we get, the more dangerous it gets, and I still believe that. The higher we get, the more likely we're going to see a pullback. In fact, I would love for that to happen. I really would, because if we can get a pullback in here, and if it can hold, say above 660, that would be a good place to hold right there. Then what we would have is a low, high, higher low, and then maybe the bulls can step in and give us that rally back up and take out that higher high right there. and that would set us up to move higher, and then maybe to that 700, right? So let's keep an eye on that. The number one thing I think we need to do is close above the 675, and that's that green line right there. That to me is one of the most important things there is to get above that line. If we cannot get above that line, then we'll be talking about lower lows. So um, we're kind of on the edge of a mountain here. And which side are we going to go? To the dark side, or are we going to go to the green side where there's beautiful green trees, rivers, and animals, and kumbaya? I'd rather see the kumbaya, but it's all about what happens in this area right now. So be careful. Be very careful. Let's take a look at T2123 because that's something I follow an awful lot. We'll put on the hourly. You can see on the hourly, we have not reached bullish territory yet. There we go. We have not reached bullish territory, and that would be when we start moving up a little bit here. We need to get the same old thing. It's the same old thing I do every time. Price has got to be above the T line. The T line has got to be above the 8 EMA. T line has to be above the 17 EMA or the trend indicator. Okay. And we're just not there yet. Even if we go down to a 10-minute, it's not looking that good. Now, this was the close Friday. This does not work on pre-market. But pre-market, I do expect it to be up just a little bit more. Here's VXX. I also follow this. I'm going to put this on the hourly. And you can see that we have fallen off. So the big old fear meter, that everybody keeps throwing out there that, the big old fear meter that everybody keeps throwing out there, that big old circle with the needle going, lots of fear, that should be lightening up right now. You can see that's moving down. Let's take a look at this T2108 that I've been following lately, and I don't have time to explain it this morning, but I do not follow it the way you think. Unless you've been here in the room for a few days, then. But that is reading very nice. That is looking very bullish right there, with price over the 8 EMA over the trend indicator, and the trend indicator now over that yellow line, which is just the 34 EMA. Just gives us more of a visual view of that thing running up there. Okay. So main thing is hang on. We got to watch here. Protect your money. Remember, cash is a position. So don't be afraid to be in that cash right there. And don't be surprised if we see that little pullback. Okay. All right, let's move back over to this chart. Maybe. There we go. Yeah, this chart. I'm kind of changing things around, so it's taking me a little bit to get used to it. I what do I want to say? Where is it? Somebody asked me yesterday that if I could point out some shorts first. That's what we'll do. Okay. So thank you for asking. I appreciate it. And then I've got some longs. Had a great conversation with a few people on Facebook last night, pointing out some stocks. So that worked out really well. And some stocks that they're watching, and I'm watching the same ones. Most of them, not all of them. So anyway, so let's look at some shorting right here, okay? And I'll tell you, and I'll post my today this scan for right way options and hit run. I'll post it in there in your rooms today so you can see it. If you have TC2000, I'll definitely do that. Let's get rid of that right there. All that. All right. So I'm looking at, and none of these are cherry picked. I'm just taking it right from the top here. Just that though. There we go. There. Now we have a new top. There we are. All right. Take a look at AMD, and here's really quick what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the price to have been above the 50 period moving average. And then I'm looking for price to be below the 50 period moving average. And then I'm looking for the trend indicator to be above the 50 period moving average. And what that does is that keeps price in this close area right in there. And that's what I want, because the move down is what we're looking for. So if I keep it up high, there's always going to be areas that price can move down to, something like that right in there. So real easy code, but I'll get it to you. Take AMD here, and this is what we would call a blue ice failure. For those who've been around a long time, you know that a guy named Dave Elliott went by First Wave. He's to my knowledge, and he's what I'm going to go with, the first one that I know of that ever talked about the blue ice failure. And it's just a great setup. But AMD might be setting up short right here. Any kind of weakness, especially below this 196.50 level, 196 level, we should see some good downside. And that really could run down to about 162 there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. That would it's also this low from a couple days ago is sitting right on the lower line of the cloud. So below that, it would bust through that cloud, and that would be a pretty good short. Speaking of this low, I forgot to mention this. When I went in the scan, I'm looking for this low to be lower than this low. When you're looking for a long, this is what we're looking for, right? And then there's your money shot. Well, what we've got over here is, let's make it red, I guess. So we're looking for it to move up, and then we're looking for it to move down. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Hold on. So we're looking for that down move. That's that down move right there. And then we're looking for it to move up, and then this will be your money shot right there. So there's your money shot, and then here's your down move right there. So down, up, down. So what I'm looking for are stocks above the lowest low in the past 5 days, and you can see how that works out. And I spent a lot of time on AMD. These next ones I won't spend so much time. Take a look at BE here, Bloom Energy, price below the 50 period moving average, trend indicator still above the 50 period moving average, and see how we're higher than the lowest low in 5 days. And yes, these are 3/8 traps to the downside. Okay, 3/8 traps to the downside. Just a couple more, and then we're going to look at something different. Take a look at ED, same thing. Below the 50 period moving average, above the 50, targets to the downside, right in there. Look at VRT, excuse me, VRT here. You can see the downtrend, and here we pause at the 50 period moving average. We consolidate. So now, which way are we going to go from that 50? And it is, it is true. If somebody's looking at this and thinking, hey, this could be a long trade, you're right, it could be. It could swing up long, but that's exactly what it's going to have to do, swing up long. But right now, because price is below that 50, I'm looking for that down move. But watch which way we go. Actually, if we took this big red candle back here, I probably should do that one again too. Take that big red candle. Above that would be bullish. Below that would be bearish. It's real simple on this chart. All right, let's take a look at a few others. And here's some that I was talking with some folks on our Facebook page. Excuse me, I have to keep a throat back. And here's some stocks that some folks put out, and I sent out a little bit of cautions with it, but we're going to talk about them a little bit. INOQ, for instance. So INOQ, a lot of people are watching this, and I think that's a good idea. There's a lot of morning stars out there. Here's the way I like to play a morning star, and that's what we've got going on here. Is the morning star is about 3 candles. It's about candle number 1, candle number 2, and candle number 3. Now, what it does over here doesn't matter as long as it stays within the morning star setup. Okay, so actually, I have to come up there. So this is the morning star setup. If we play around in this area for a few days, that's fine. What we're after is that breakout, and that's the buy on it. Now, aggressive traders can certainly buy in this area, but really you're buying a stock that's in a downtrend, no question about it. So if you're into doing that, okay, fine. Just make sure your stop's on. Don't let it go south on you too much where it just kills your account. But ultimately, what we're looking for is that follow through above this candle right there, above that candle right there, just like that. Let's see if this was another one. QBTS. Again, a lot of people looking for this. Pick up these bottoms. There's a lot of stocks that's oversold, and these can be great, great trades. So we just have to make sure that we buy them at the right time and not, rush the gun from fear we're going to miss out of something. We're not going to miss out on anything. There's lots and lots and lots of charts out there to trade with. So, so here's QBTS. So we've got candle number 1, candle number 2, candle number 3. That makes the Morningstar signal. And it's candle number 1 that I want to be above. So if we start to break out over, we'll call that, say, 24, that might be where we start to buy it. And that will also, the trend indicator is close enough that'll probably put the candle over the trend indicator as well, from early buy-in. Okay, so there's several like that. RGTI, AMSC, Irene. BMNR. Here's somebody, my BMNR. I'm watching this one again, believe it or not. I am watching it. And you see how we closed over that big candle? So BMRN, we move over the 8 EMA here. Well, I might be hard pressed not to nibble on it just a little bit. And to me, that's a perfect Morningstar signal. So a little bit of, in fact, I better, while I'm here, I'm going to put an alert on this right in here. So I'll put an alert, and notice I'm not in a hurry to get to buy it. Buy it real low. I don't mind paying a little higher for it, because right now, if you plan your trade out, where'd it go? There it is. You plan your trade out. There's that 50% relief rally retracement on this, and just from 33.40 here up to here is 33% on the stock. That's plenty of money. I don't need to grab another percent or another dollar. That's plenty of money. And then if you're buying the option, that's over a 60% trade. Man, that's rocket fuel right there. Absolute rocket fuel. So anyway, great looking chart. Let's take a look at AVGO as well. AVGO is rocking. Now, it's too far for me to buy, so I'm going to have to wait for a pullback. This is one I put on the list. I'll end up putting an alert on it to see if it moves down a little bit. And then I'll look at buying this. Now, the road to wealth account, we're doing great. This has been a horrible month for me. I'm not going to lie to anybody here, especially the last couple of weeks. It's been horrible, but it's still maintained tripling in 10 months, over 200%. So I'm not too worried. I've made my bones. The bones were to just double it in 12 months. So I'm way ahead of that. Not worried about it. So we're all good. So, I can patiently wait for this to pull back, and then I can get into it. And that's one of the keys to growing your account to that, that number, that whatever number you want, is being patient and just waiting. Now, I'm not going to buy AVGO because the road to wealth account is too small to handle this. But what it is not too small for is AVGG, the single stock ETF here. So what I'm going to end up, in fact, I'll just do that right now. I'm just going to throw just an arbitrary line up here, right there. And that is simply to start an alert. So if this pulls back, it'll alert me, and then I'll know to go take a look at it. But we'll be looking for that pullback, something like a 3/8 trap. And then maybe it never makes it down to a 3/8 trap, Maybe it just pulls back like this, and then I'll look for the buyers to step in. It does, it doesn't even have to be necessarily a 3-day trap. So anyway, that's looking pretty good. It was just pointed out to me, Apple. Apple is one we're still holding, and it still looks like it's moving up here. We've got Fig Newton chart pattern here. You've got a bullish engulf. You've got follow through. You've got a doji. Man, this chart is just beautiful, if you ask me. I've got both Apple and I own AAPU in a different account, and so both those. And this is a single stock ETF. All right, before I get too carried away here, let's see. Do you guys have any charts you want to look at? Right way options. If you want to post anything out there, you're more than welcome. I'll see it, and we'll. In fact, let me move you over here so I can see you a little better. There you go. All right. Let me start at the top here. Hey, good morning, S. How are you? You're looking for some love in love. Yeah, love. We're taking on that 50% mark that I have right here. Let me move that over. There we go. Next line up will be this one right in there. That will be the next target on that. And that's, 34.50 up there. I think we're doing very well on this chart. Price action seems a little bit ragged, but if you straighten it out, what do you have? Just straighten it out a little bit. Take some of the bounce out of it, take some of the worry, take some of the froth out of it. But that's working out great. You've got a low, high, higher low. You bust out here, you're going to make that higher high, and that'll push you right up into that 61.8 line there. How sweet is that? And then we'll have to reevaluate before we get up to that 36. But looking good there, looking good. Hey, something I just noticed in this too. I think we can make an inverted head and shoulders argument here, don't you? I think we can. I'm going to look at a 3-day chart. Look at that. Whoa, look at that. Look at that morning star here. Low, high, higher low. Another morning star. I think I like love. Yeah. Nice, nice. Hey, Rally, good morning. You're looking at some Tesla? Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. Just so everybody knows that I own TSLL. That's the single stock ETF for Tesla. And it is, Tesla's in one of these areas that it's questionable. It's kind of a risky trade, I think I took because we are heading down. We're right in the middle of the cloud, if anybody follows the cloud. We are in a trend down. We have been putting in this sideways box. You can see that we've got a double bottom down here. Here we've rallied up. So basically, I'm taking the bet that it pops up. That's the bet I'm taking by buying TSL down here. So anyway, that's, I think, setting up pretty good. I need to move that because there's that 50% mark. Just taking the highs and the lows, we need to be above that 50% mark. Way over here. And what that'll do, if you think of bulls and bears, buyers and sellers as a voting group, then right now the vote is unanimous with the bears below that line, below the 50% mark. If we move over the 50% mark, then that changes that. And now we flip to the bullish side. So it will be very important to move over that 50% mark. And then we've got that whole 50-period moving average here. If we do start failing, then it would be a pretty nice short to the downside. And I would probably look at 352 down here for that short. I don't know what you're looking at, long or short, Rally, so I kind of put both in there. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? CLS, let's take a look at that. Look at CLS. For those that can handle a $300 chart, beautiful if you ask me. Good grief. 50-period moving average is trending to the upside. We've got a morning star. We were bullish here, all the red dots, green dots, excuse me. And then see the red dots, we got bearish, and now we're starting to turn bullish again. Absolutely beautiful. I guess the number one thing will be to break out of that 363. It can certainly be bought right here. Nice little 3-8 trap. You've got a nice little 9, maybe 10% move up. And then who knows? Watch for that $400 mark in there. Yeah, let's see. What else do we have here? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Where'd you go? Right way options. Again, don't be bashful over there, right way options. I don't bite. I know that some of you, I swear, I think you think I bite, but I don't. Um, so, Rivian. Yeah, Rivian is one I've got my eyes on. Thanks, Julie. And we made some pretty good money on Rivian here. Some really good money on Rivian when it made this run. So I've already got that alerted. Um, Nancy, are you sure about that? Well, my bites are more like nibbles. So I'm waiting for Rivian to pop up. I don't mind paying a little higher for it. In fact, I would love that. So if Rivian could actually get, say, start bouncing up here around that what is that, 560? That's when I would take the Rivian trade. And then what that would look like is something like this. So let's say today it does that. Boom, 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 boom. And if it can hold in here like that today, I'd be a buyer. I would absolutely be a buyer. And then my stop would be about where that orange line is right now. We do that. Here's the 50% mark right here. So say a buyer in this area, that puts us up to this top, 15%. That's nice money. That's really nice money. So yeah, Rivian. Like I say, we made good money on that. So laughing at you, Nancy. Hey Vin, how are you? Hey PPN. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And I hope you have a great week. I really do, really do. So, all right, let's look at AP 3-8 trap. Yeah, that's a 3-8 trap. That's a pretty chart, really nice. This is what I would call a gap and trap. And all it is, all a gap and trap is when, let's see, I don't know if yellow will work here. Let's try it. No, it really doesn't. Let's try this. Let's stick with something else. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So what a gap and trap is, now in this case, you can see it clearly has a gap right here. And there's actually a couple other gaps up there. But it can also be just a big move. So thrust, big thrust, okay? And then what we've got is rest. And then we've got a 3-8 trap. Now, we can see a lot of charts where, like right here was a 3-8 trap. And it never went bullish. It just, in fact, went bearish. So it's not that every time it throws you a 3-8 trap, it's going to get bullish. That's not the way 3-8 traps work. And this might be the time. I can't guarantee this is the time, but you're right. The 3-8 trap. We're consolidating quite well right here. So, boom, boom. We're looking for that next move to move up, right? And man, that is a beautiful chart. I totally agree with you there. Let's get rid of those lines. I really don't know why they're there. And let's do this. I'm going to take this low and I'm going to walk it up to this high. Then I'm going to take this tail, walk it up to that low, and then put a mark. I mean, clearly, we're going to have to take out that top. There would be 50% move back up, and then this would be moving up in the 61.8 fib line target right there. So APPN looks really, really good, really good. Let's stop here for a second. Time out. I think it's so important to plan your trade, and that's just what I did. That's planning your trade, and it's so important to do this on your chart, so so you know that where certain levels are that the sellers might come in, certain levels where you might take a partial off the table or close it all. Where's your stop going to be? To me, there's two places for a stop. One would be a close below the 8 EMA, or one when those dots turn red. A lot depends on where you buy it. So just planning your trade doesn't have to be some long drawn out 14-page, trade plan. It doesn't. I've always said if you can't put it on a 3x5 index card, you've got too much going on. You don't need that much. So, like I said, it doesn't take too much to do it. It's pretty easy. I do it here every day. You can see how fast it is. The one thing I haven't talked about here, and let's go talk about that right now, and is the market in your favor? And that's something you always want to keep in mind. Is the market in your favor? Right now, I'm going to say no. If you're looking long, no, the market is not in your favor. One, we are still underwater. We're still underwater. We're also prime set up for a pullback. So keep that in mind. But no matter how bad you might think the market is, there's always going to be a bullish trade out there. You just got to ask yourself, do you have the one that's going to follow through? That's the tough part. So, let's see here. Mr. Goodson, DEFT, take a look. DAFT, yeah, let's pull some off the bottom here. Nice. I mean, I think it is. Now, I like this. Here's a dollar chart for somebody looking for a low price chart. We've got that bottom here. I've got to see it above the T line. That's when I really like it. But I can see why you would take maybe a little bit of a trade here. Stock would probably be this low. Now, here's another way to do this is go intraday. If you look at the 3-bar chart, you can actually see, and I didn't know this, okay? It's not that I knew it was going to be like this. I just looked at the 3-bar chart and shazam, I can see it. So this is the 3-bar chart, and you can see how price is above the 8 EMA, and we're pushing on the trend indicator, right? All right, let's go look at the hourly. Look at that hourly. Rock and roll, there it is, right there. Price, 8 EMA trend indicator, holding above the 50-period moving average. For those that follow the rounded bottom breakout, yeah. For those that follow the rounded bottom breakout, that's a rounded bottom breakout on the hourly chart. That is a gorgeous hourly chart. Absolutely gorgeous. So this could definitely be traded to the upside. I think this is going to be too high. I may have to adjust it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. I lied. No, this is right on. This is right on. So what I would look for, we break out over that level right there, which is what, $1.13, $1.14. Next level up, real simple. And by the way, a breakout over this line right here, that 113, 114, that'll be breaking out of the construction zone, and then the money zone is ahead of us. And right there is that 50% retracement, which is also the edge of the lower side of the gap. And then you have a gap to fill on top of that. That's a nice chart. That's a nice chart. Julie's looking at some IAG, and yeah, we need to go talk about UNG. Yeah, darn it. Beautiful, beautiful chart, Julie. Morningstar, 50-period moving average, traveling up. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me do that. So let's take this low, go up to this high, and then take this tail, run it up to that low. Yeah, there it is. And then there is your 50% mark. And then let's duplicate that. And there's your 61.8 right there, and then possibly higher. That AIG, that's a nice chart. Thank you. Also, look at the cup and handle in there. Very, very nice. Yeah, who mentioned that? Roger had to talk about it, Yeah, look at UNG. Doggone it. What's up with that? So I'll be closing this out pretty much right away this morning. I'm not going to hold it. Um, dang it, dang it, dang it. I was in UNG. It fell down into my 817 trap yesterday. I did add to it with that, terrific. And now look, we're moving down. So I will be closing UNG, and it will be a loss, but I'm not going to hold on to it. No, uh, no sense in holding on to big losing trades like that. So anyway, that will happen. What time is it? Ooh, hey, it's about time to go. All right, let's look at the SPY one more time. You can see that we pulled back here off that 50 and off that 50% mark right in there. So we're pulling back. Again, a nice little pullback I think would be great for this market. I would like it to not pull back below 660.15. I would like it to stay above that. But that could set us up to break through this 675 and then come 700 up here. Hey, I want to thank everybody for being here. Remember our Black Friday sales. Remember that John open house on Monday, this coming Monday. Need to register for that. Again, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Right way options and hit run candlesticks. I'll see you in the room in about 25 minutes. Okay. Thanks for being here. See you later.